this is Chastity at R&R Cultivation. We are here today with Lance and Nick and Devin and Joe. We have the two founders here, the science guy, the marketing guy, and then we've got a sales marketing assistant here and our warehouse operations manager. We are so thankful that you could join us on this video tour today.
Lance and I started this about 4 years ago in my basement.
Five.
5 years
Who's
ago.
counting?
5 years ago in my basement in a 3-foot by 3-foot tent. So he came to me. I had just finished my master's. I was looking for something fun to engage in. He was already kind of in the eco sphere. So he kind of proposed this and was like, hey, look at these projections, and you know, we've never seen projections that you didn't like, right? So we just dove into it. We started, like I said, 3x3 in my basement, and then a 5x10 in my basement, and that was like the first like half of the year. So that was 2018, and yeah, so we were primarily selling at farmers markets at that point, and that was just seeing if this had any legs to it at all. The first market that we ever did that I went to was the downtown St. Paul Farmers Market, and I had like 9 pounds of oysters or something that I had harvested, and I was just so like, wow, these are amazing. Let's see if I can move these today. And my family was coming down to visit. I sold out in 45 minutes, and so my family came and they're like, where's your booth? Where is everything? I'm like, it's gone. So that was the first time when we really said, hey, this thing could have some legs, and there's definitely a demand for it in the market. Yeah, and then we went into our first commercial space in Roseville. That was 750 square feet. Yeah, my office was in the bathroom because we needed the rest of the space for colonization, for blocks on racks, and then we had 2 grow rooms, and that's when we really bumped up, and we did, how many farmers markets our first year? Probably like 7?
I did 9 myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
2019 was it was a blur, but that's how we built the business, was brand recognition, getting out there. We really wanted to differentiate the market by having just beautiful mushrooms, just talking so much at the farmers markets and just getting out there, and people started to respond. And then by that 2019 fall, we started getting the co-ops and sort of overwintered and teaching people actually about buying mushrooms year round, which is the whole premise of the program anyways, is not just spring and fall, not just like risotto and all those dishes, but year round, full inputs, grow what you want, and go out and see what the demand is. What's funny is that we thought at that point in time that demand might be like 10,000 pounds a week, and we've actually crescendoed pretty close to that at some weeks. And it's amazing how much we've grown these past few years. But you know, in this building now, a former Lunds and Valley's processing center that we moved into about 1.5 years ago, it's allowed us to do full vertical integration. So we're now making our own slants, petries, mother cultures, upwards of 9,000 pounds of substrate that we're producing per day in our big old autoclave retort. A bunch of geeky science stuff, I'm sure that's gonna be spliced in the video. But now we've gone to this point where we can actually produce what's 5,000-6,000 pounds of mushrooms a week. So a little different than a basement. So
yeah, scaled up quickly, scaled up really fast. So
yeah, thanks COVID.
Thanks COVID.
This is the beginning of everything here on the farm, basically. Everything comes in through this room and into here. This is where we bag up all the grain, which gets put on these racks, and somewhere between 700 to 12 or 1,300 of these end up going into the autoclave. And in there, they cook for pretty much all day and are sterilized. And then they come out on the other side into a clean room. So this is the other side of the autoclave. Everything eventually comes out into this room. And this is all HEPA filtered air being pumped into this room, because once we come out of that, we're sterile, and we want to keep it that way. And then they'll cool down in here for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, depending on how many blocks we have in here. And then they go into the inoculation room, where they're inoculated and sealed and put on racks for incubation. So we call this the loft. This is kind of where the magic happens with the mushrooms and where they do most of their growing. If you look around, there's a lot of blocks of mushrooms just hanging out in here. This is a temperature controlled room. We keep it at a pretty specific temperature and humidity level. And they will sit in here from anywhere from 2 weeks up until 8, 9, sometimes longer, depending on the species.
So the chestnut mushroom, I'd say that when we first started growing mushrooms and we were picking varietals, there were a multitude to choose from, but the chestnuts really stood out because people recognize them as a mushroom that looks sort of like a mushroom, and they're beautiful. I've always thought that they look like pretzel buns, with a lot of salt in them. So there's an appetite there, but they're really easy to cook with. So you can actually just take the full mushroom, toss in the pan. If you want a little bit of differentiation, you can put the stem in first, the cap in after that, but the whole entire mushroom is edible. So that's what we do from the very beginning. As a point of differentiation was when we harvest, we pull the mushrooms off, but we don't leave all that substrate in the back. So we trim the mushrooms. So when you as a chef order 5 pounds of chestnuts, you get 5 pounds of chestnuts, not 4.25 pounds of chestnuts and 0.75 pounds of substrate. So that really has helped us stand out in the marketplace from a cleanliness standpoint, from an organic standpoint, but also from just a cost standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint. You're not getting a bunch of sticky substrate on the chestnuts. You can put them in, work with them, roast them off where you want to. They're ready to go. And the other thing is about urban farming is that it's clean in here. So this is wood, clean product in the bag where it's growing, harvested off. There's nothing you need to trim. There's nothing you need to actually cleanse off. There's no kind of weirdness about spongy mushrooms that sit too long, get all moldy. This is as fresh as it gets.
So all of the mushrooms are, the beautiful thing about working with a local company, especially one that's 20 minutes away from the distributor, is you always get the freshest product available on the shelf, right? So you're not getting stuff that's already traveled for 5 to 7 days before it's even available for sale to you all. So for us, what we try and do with ours is it's usually picked and packed, depending on the species, but usually within 2 to 4 days from when it's harvested. Sometimes same day, depending on exactly how much we have in stock at that point. But yeah, we always aim for the quickest turnaround. We know that everyone has to maintain shelf, and we want to make sure that we get it to Performance Foods in time to make sure it gets to you guys really, really fresh still, with still a lot of life left in it.
So here we are in the Black Pearl Oyster Room, and this is a perfect case in point for showing you what the mushrooms do, even when you don't want them to do it. We get consistency across the board. Really do a great job with that, but you get some stragglers too. So, what happens is we grow very consistent product for chefs to use, because if you've got a menu to plan out, you can't have a mushroom be this size versus that size. It just doesn't work. So for us, for overages, for sustainability purposes, we actually offer the chef's mix, because if we're going down the pipeline and we have all these mushrooms, guess what? We can cut them up in your made-to-order packages, and it's saving us because we don't want any mushrooms to be non-utilized. So, and it's saving you guys because, well, you can just put them in the pan, put them in the roasting pan, get them going, and there's no prep time. There's no paying your sous chefs for that prep, and they're ready to go.
Well, hello there again. I'm just hanging out with these two fun guys and checking out all their awesome processes and products. Have a great day, you guys, and thanks for checking us out.